All right, dude, first off, just congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. I've done almost 30 hours last 2 months and starting to get spent, burnt out, but it's just the drive. You want it that bad, you can't give up,
I just stuck a bull. This bull has been sounding gnarly, nasty. On my right, there's two bulls fighting. I can see them going, their bodies moving back and forth between the trees. And then all of a sudden I hear this. There's another bull right there. Walking through those aspens.
I shot him. Did you hear that?
No. We both just shot the same bull.
I shot him first.
He shot him first. Oh my gosh. What a heck of a pursuit, dude. All freaking day.
When your buddy calls you, says you got a buck down. And what does he got? A buck down.
Look what I found.
What a sweet coos, man. Opening day, heck yeah. Way to go, Steve.
Arizona Archery Club is a premier partner with BowhuntingAZ. When it comes to attention to detail and a fiery passion, Arizona Archery Club brings it all to the table. With all the latest bows and archery equipment, you can demo every single model in person, free of charge at their demo room. Walk through the process with an experienced bow tech and see which bow is right for you without the sales pressure. Their indoor archery range offers air-conditioned lanes with standard or 3D targets available. When you visit, be sure to mention you're a listener to the BowhuntingAZ podcast. Let's all support local. Conquering your own dark mountain is no easy task. The backcountry requires grit and determination. Having quality supplements like Dark Mountain's Kodiak pre-workout, whey proteins, and nourishing recovery are all an essential part of your success in the journey to harvest from the land. Dark Mountain is a 2% for conservation company because they know that with a collective effort, we can cherish these resources for a long time to come. Use promo code BowhuntingAZ20 for 20% off your order. Afflictor broadheads are cutting to the core of broadhead technology. With both expandable hybrids and fixed broadheads, you have an arsenal available for any hunting need. Team BowhuntingAZ has placed our trust in Afflictor as our exclusive broadheads to hunt with. Check out Afflictor's selection over at afflictorbroadheads.com. Built mountain tough, Scree Gear offers hunters the highest quality clothing for affordable prices. With patterns designed by military concealment specialists, Scree Gear brings you closer to the game without being detected. With every climate in mind, Scree Gear hosts a huge selection of clothing for all the terrains of North America and beyond. Check out Scree Gear today at www.screegear.com. Use promo code BowhuntingAZ for 15% off your first order. Too many of us feel at a loss when it comes to storing or displaying our bows. Rax has the answer. With many of the major bow brands available or even the option to have your own custom racks made. This is hands down the only way to show off your setup. I even prefer to have a mini racks for my Euro mounts. Made in the US out of carbon steel, racks and mini racks secure into your wall and offer padded hooks to give your bow the perfect spot where it's out of the way but easy to access. Check out racks and use promo code PASSION15 to get 15% off your order. Visit raxinc.com. That's RAXXINC.com today. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the BowhuntingAZ podcast. I'm super happy, super pumped, super excited to have Jason Miller back on here. In the last episode, we
talked about trail cams, and he is the trail cam guru and just has phenomenal content surrounding wildlife and just their natural everyday life. But Jason is also an avid bear guru as well. And so being able to talk bears with him is always a blast. But this one's extra special because today we're talking about his bear harvest. And in the last episode, we talked about how Jason had a tag, and he was recently able to fill that tag. And so we're just going to kind of dive in and just have a organic conversation here today. No show notes, nothing like that. And just going to let him tell a good old fashioned hunting story. So welcome back, Jason, and congratulations, brother. Glad to see the picture, and can't wait to hear you tell all about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I want to thank, BowhuntingAZ. Yeah, it's been a long ride, about 3 years now. I've been trying to get one with a bow. I've shot 4 with a rifle, but this hunt with a bow for bear is just completely different. And it's my second time getting drawn for that summer tag in 3 years. And so I've been fortunate to get drawn the 2 years I did put in. And finally paid off.
Heck yeah, man. Well, it looks like you got kind of like a cinnamon, right?
Yeah. It's a sow. I think it's an older sow. Big head on her. Good size. What I'll do is I'll break it down. Me and my buddy got down to this spot we're going to go to. Let me backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
We were there a couple days ago.
Okay.
And this year it was really slow at my spots, hit and miss. Busy week, slow week. Busy week with the activity because there's still plenty of water around from the winter. So my water spots were not getting hit as often like I did last year or the year before. They were getting hammered at this time. So I finally went, got some good pictures morning and evening. So me and my buddy sat morning, it was a few days ago, and nothing came in. We left, we came back the next day, which was yesterday, and decided to do an evening sit. Well, I checked my cams real quick when we went in there, and they pounded it. I had 5 different bears that came in that evening, but we only sat the morning that day before. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So we got up to my location, which was up on this big boulder rock plateau that overlooked the creek that they walked up and down, and just took off my pack, unzipped my pack. I was down on one knee. He was just taking his pack off, and I kind of looked up. I saw something 10 yards away down in the creek through the bushes. I see fur. And I just couldn't believe it. I wasn't even ready. I didn't have an arrow nocked or nothing. And I kind of tapped him, and then it kicked in. I thought it was calm because it was, somewhat the same color. And it was about 10 yards away. And I reached for my bow real slowly, and I started shaking like crazy. And it caught my movement. And, well, it's a she. So she looked over at me and then kind of looked back, looked over. And this is 10 yards. And then she decided to go the opposite direction instead of going down into the pool that we sat actually right above. And she went up, stopped at 20 yards. And my buddy had said to me, and I didn't know this until after the fact, he said, it's not calm. I thought it was calm. At 10 yards, it looked like calm to me. It was so big. And, it was a good sized bear. So I was just, I was in awe. But anyway, she went up, stopped it. And I said, what's the range? Or I said, how far? And he said 21. And he still hadn't sat down yet. He was like kneeling. He didn't want to move, within this time. And mind you, this happened 5-10 seconds when we got there, and totally caught off guard. And I just remembered hearing him say 21, and I put my 20-yard pin. I drew back, put my 20-yard pin on her, and there's this big tree right in front of me. So I had to draw back and kind of lean to the side, still on one knee. My pack is right there. I got my water bottle. And like I said, and when she walked up and stopped at 20 yards, perfect broadside, I was trying to pull an arrow out of my quiver while she was doing that, but trying to be quiet. But because I was shaking so bad, man, it sounded like I was clacking, glasses together. And then when she stopped, I just pulled the arrow out real quick, knocked it, drew back, leaned over, and I was shaking. and I tried to hold it together. I remember looking through the peep sight, and I put my 20-yard pin on her, and I shot, and I nailed her right on the shoulder, and she went up over the hill. She went about 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe. I can't believe I got the shot off. It happened so fast. I wasn't even ready. So it was a rush of a lifetime.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially being that close to like a predator and stuff too, man. I mean, that's awesome.
That was the rush with her being so close. And I was in awe. Like I said, I wasn't prepared. We just got there. It was I looked at my phone as soon as I got there. It was 4:20. And that's about when we planned to sit there until dark. And like I said, I took my water bottle out. I hadn't even sat down. I didn't even have an arrow knocked. I was totally caught off guard. And yeah, for her to show up that close out of the bushes, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And so following that, obviously you tracked her. She went about 100 yards and you found her. Now, kind of dive in for some of the people that haven't harvested a bear yet. What goes on after that? I mean, is it just the standard, skinning and processing that we're kind of used to, or bear is a little bit different in that approach?
Well, I skinned her out just like I would a deer or coyote or, any other animal, for the fur. So I guess maybe there is a bit different. There's a difference with it, depending on if you want to keep the fur or not. But I'll tell you, I hit her good, and she bled quite a bit going up the hill. When she went down, we were finding tiny drops here and there, so I got a bit concerned. I found out later I made a great shot. It's just, I think it was momentum, and she was bailing through all the brush, and it was hard to pick up the blood trail. We were going back and forth, that we eventually, found enough to lead to her. But yeah, I skinned her out for a rug. I'm going to have it tanned. And I guess you kind of skin them that way out anyway when you take the hide off. There's like a way to do it up the, the chest line, and then out each, paw on both legs and then up to the neck. And then you kind of, cut it all, skin it all around the back. And then what I do is I cut at the paws. There's a knuckle end of the feet that you go down to, and then you can snap it there so the feet are intact with the hide.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. Perfect. On the way home, kind of what are your thoughts? What are your reflections and stuff like that? I mean, do you just replay the whole day over and over and over as you're walking out, packing out?
Yeah, it was getting dark when we headed out. Oh my gosh, yeah. I think the whole time tracking her, I was rethinking every second that happened before I shot, and when I shot, and when I last saw her. I was thinking about that the whole time I was tracking her. And then when we found her and we were heading back to the truck, it was just the same thing like 1,000 times over and over and over thinking about it. It was incredible. I'm still on a high. I still can't believe it's happened because, last time I shot at a bear was 2 years ago when I had this tag, and it was a big bear, and I shot right over its back, and to this day I thought I drilled it, and I missed it completely. And even though I missed back then, I was on a high, just having that experience. But this time doing it and connecting, yeah, it was beyond belief. I felt like I was in another world. I mean, I know it's hard to understand, but it was because like I said, I shot forward with a rifle years and years ago. So this is my first time in the bow, but it's a completely different experience.
Yeah. I was just talking about that. I was just interviewed on somebody else's podcast recently, and we were kind of talking about how, nothing against rifle hunting. I would do a rifle hunt any day, but hunting with a bow is so much more personal, so much more up close, such a different experience. That sub 100 yards just changes everything. And it's really neat. It's definitely a neat experience, a lot more intimate with the animal itself.
Right. And also I want to thank Caleb Joner for helping me out. I couldn't do it without him. It's good to have someone young with you.
Heck yeah, that extra back.
He helped me out considerably after the fact, and it was nice having it. Having an experience with somebody else there. I mainly hunt alone. I have to hunt with my daughter. I help with a few guys here and there, but I usually 9% of the time I'm by myself. So it was nice to experience it with someone else.
Yeah.
When I come home and tell my wife and my daughter about my hunt, it's great and all, but if they were there and saw it through their eyes too, the eye's different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do exactly know what you mean. Yeah. For all my harvests, either Jake was there or Jake has come up after I shot the animal. And yeah, just that camaraderie that you share over a downed animal with somebody, it does. It definitely amplifies like the overall high of the experience for sure.
Yes. And it was, like I said, it was awesome having the help. I don't know the age of the sow I shot, but she was a good size. I mean, she had a big head, beautiful coat. But it was a good sized bear. And I have no regrets whatsoever. A lot of people have said to me, oh, you wish it was Kong. Why didn't you wait for Kong and this and that? And I see it like this, Stephen. If it was meant to be Kong, it would have happened with Kong. And it didn't.
Yeah.
I was committed with the shot. I wanted to take the shot. But my buddy had said to me that wasn't Kong. And I actually, honestly, I was in another world when I drew back and made the choice. I don't even remember him saying that. He said, yeah, I told you it wasn't Kong before you shot. And I was like, because all I heard you say was 21 yards. And I said, it's okay. I'm happy with what, I shot. I was happy to have the opportunity. If it was meant to be with Kong, it would have been Kong, but it wasn't. And I'm fine with that. It's about filling the tag for me, the same with, archery hunting for deer. If I have a big buck there and I shoot it, awesome. If it's a small buck and I have the opportunity and I shoot it, awesome. It's the same to me. It's just a little bit more of a treat if, the rack's bigger, but I hunt for me and the hunting experience, that to me is more than anything. And who's to say I could have sat at that spot or any of my other spots 10 more times in the next month and never seen Kong. And then, I never had that experience of shooting a bear with my bow, and that's why I'm out there is for the hunt.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that every harvest that we take or, the animal that we come across is supposed to be that way. Especially, my father-in-law, he told me a story where he had the opportunity to harvest this buck, but because he let it play out in his head that it was too small and stuff, he ended up harvesting a doe. And
right.
A few days later, he saw that buck dead, rotten and wasted, bloated on the side of the road. And he kind of felt bad and had a little bit of remorse about it. He's like, if I had harvested that buck, it wouldn't have gone to waste. And maybe, in his mind, he was supposed to have taken that opportunity and he chose not to.
Right.
But
yeah, it's hard. It's, like I said, but it's the experience.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It was great being there, having the opportunity. And that's why I was there, for all of that. And, Kong is like a spirit bear to me. He's blessed me with pics and videos, and I've become very attached to him.
Yeah.
And I think he knows who I am. I really do. I made him famous, and he made me popular. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, you guys definitely have a mutual relationship.
It's been a great journey with him, and I hope I get another year or two out of it. If I never harvest him, so be it. I didn't set out to harvest him. I just love the pics and videos that I get. And, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So for those that haven't harvested a bear yet, now where does your journey continue on after this? I mean, you call Game and Fish, you report, they pull a molar and you get some information back down the line as well on the bear and everything.
Yeah. I notify, I think you have 48 hours to notify them, and you give them your automated service, and you give them their license tag number, I think unit and all that. And then you schedule an appointment to go down there and then take a pre-molar out. And then I think in about a year, it's been a long time since I shot a bear, but it's about like a year. They send you like a little card of the age of your bear.
Yep. That sounds about right. I've seen a few other people kind of say about the same thing.
Yeah. And you take, the hide in to prove sex of the animal. So that's another thing, that I didn't mention earlier. You want to skin it out so you can show the, sex organs.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, so it's a male or female, whatever. Just, you know, make sure you get all the hide down at that end, you know, when you take it in. And of course the skull, so they can take the premolar.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you're, packing the animal out and everything, and you get home, are you throwing the hide and everything into like a freezer, or are you just trying to keep it cool on ice, or what's your method?
Well, what I did was, I put the hide in the freezer. I cover it, bag it, and I quarter or debone all the meat, put it in a big cooler, and fill it full of bags of ice, at least for 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. And then I go through, debone it all, and then I start processing, depending on what I want to do, burger, steaks, roasts, whatever. So I usually put it on ice for a few days, yes.
Yeah.
That's just my method. Some people like to take care of it straight away. I used to do that, but when you get older, it's harder. When you get home from the hunts, you're exhausted, and it doesn't hurt anything. Haven't noticed any difference, but it doesn't hurt anything to keep it cool for a few days, as long as it's really cold. And then do it when you're more refreshed, because when you come home, you got to unload, you're exhausted. And it's a lot to do to stay up all night or all day if you've been out all, morning. To deal with it after the fact. Some people may, choose to do it that way, but I put it on ice for a few days and then take care of it.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. So I'll come home and I'll leave it. Usually it seems like it sits about 3 days, or, if I kill during the week, it'll be, probably Saturday or Sunday before I'm getting to it. And I agree. I mean, replenish yourself, take some electrolytes, some sort of hydration, even if it's Gatorade, because you're going to be a little bit fatigued, especially during these summer hunts. They're hot. It's way hot out there. And so let your body recuperate and take time, and then hit it when you're, hit the processing when you're refreshed and all that, and, get some family members or whatever you enjoy, and, camaraderie there too around processing.
Yeah, I always skin it. That's the first thing I do. I get that hide off.
Yeah.
Especially because of the heat, because I don't want the fur slipping and not being any good down the road, when I take it in to have it done. But yeah, thankfully for me, where I shot it, it was all shaded in this canyon.
There you go.
And so it was pretty cool. Even when I shot her, it was like overcast. The sun was already going down at that point, and like so when we got out of there, it was almost dark, and so it was actually good timing in the sense of where it happened, because there was no really direct sunlight on her at all, and on us, so we weren't half as exhausted, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and for those of you listening, if you decide to let your meat sit for a few days, this is me personally. I don't know if everyone does it, but I always drain my water each and every day. So if it's sitting on the cooler, don't let your meat get soggy. That's definitely one thing you don't want. So try and get your meat on top of the ice, and then drain the cooler and let all that melted ice or melted water get out of the cooler too, so it's not sogging up your meat.
Right. I usually I do my own butchering, but this year I'm going to try something different. I'm going to have someone do some summer sausages for me. I've never had that done, and just kind of change it up a bit, because my wife likes to do the roast, and of course we do the grind with burger and some steaks and stuff like that. But I'm going to change it up a little bit, and it's kind of fun that way, doing something different,
Yeah. Well, I don't know about. I'm sure Bear will be phenomenal, no doubt. But I mean, I have elk summer sausage, a jalapeno cheddar cheese, and then I also have some pepperoni too that we made out of it. And man, it is so fantastic. Like I can't even. The only thing that kind of stinks is I save mine for special occasions because they go quick. And typically, if I take one out, I'm going to eat the whole thing within 2 days, 1 day, sometimes even. So just because they're so good, I find myself munching on it all day long.
Yeah, and the cool thing about summer sausage is that's actually something I take with me on my hunts, because I'm always looking for snacks to take, and a lot of it's got to be quiet, no wrappers and stuff like that. And summer sausage would be nice. But it'd be real nice to, be sitting there hunting, the next game animal later. Actually, I won't be hunting until January now, but I'll take other people out, in August and in the fall for the rifle hunts, for deer. But it'd be nice to, have something in my pack that, I shot, summer sausage being eaten that snack from something I harvested,
Exactly. Yeah. Jake and I brought some of that elk sausage with us when we were trying spring bear, and it was cool to have the last hunt's harvest with us on the current one. It's definitely neat to have that full circle.
Well, and congrats to you on that Texas hunt.
Oh, dude, thank you.
That was an absolutely beautiful animal you harvested, and your buddy too. I mean, congrats to both of you.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Dude, that was a different experience. I'll be honest, man. I went into that hunt with some preconceived notions, just because a private ranch and all that stuff.
Right. Right.
I had in my head what it would be like, and it was not. It was tough. It was so hard. Spot and stock, even on exotics and stuff, it's hard, man. It's way hard. Yeah,
and your axis buck was just, oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful, man.
Dude, he was big, man. He was huge.
That was awesome. I actually just recently saw the video.
Oh, did you?
You put out of that, and that was so cool. And
Thank
you're
you.
right. A lot of people, people that want to hunt lions are like, well, I don't want dogs to chase them. That's not really hunting. But from what I've heard, that is a hellacious hunt.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's not you just follow the dogs and you shoot out of the tree. It's nothing like that. That's a tough hunt to do.
Yeah.
So in regards to hunting on a ranch, those ranches are like thousands of acres, aren't they? It's not like it's a small pen.
Right. So that's the largest ranch in Texas, 7,000 acres or 12 square miles. So it's like,
wow,
they're there, but it's by no means like, it's not shooting fish in a barrel.
It's really, when you think about it, it's not much different than us going for deer and javelina out in the hills here.
Sure.
Those animals live in those areas.
Their home range. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not really much different. So, like you said, either way, it's a tough hunt. It's not like fishing in a barrel.
Right, yeah, and it's interesting too. So when I shot him, he was I think like 61 or 63 yards, completely broadside. And
right.
Axis are, they always talk about how they duck arrows and stuff. And actually somebody in our group shot at one the day before at 40 and it completely ducked his arrow, like clean miss, not even close. And it hit a tree behind him. But so mine was at, that 60-yard range plus or minus. And I shot at him right at his heart, broadside. And by the time my arrow connected with him, he was already quartering away.
Jeez.
And so I was lucky. I was lucky that I caught him double long still. And I was like, man, an extra 20 yards. I was shocked that he didn't completely duck it. But
right. Do you rifle hunt?
Do I rifle hunt? Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I'll rifle hunt any day. Absolutely. I've got a 308, and in fact, my first deer that I took was a mule deer with my 308.
But when you archery hunt, it's a different thing, isn't it? I mean, there's something different about archery hunting. I think that kind of makes you feel more, I don't know, more into the land, because you gotta get so much closer. It actually makes you a better hunter, I believe, because you have to get close, which is not easy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. There's some, there was a quote recently I saw, I think it was by Fred Bear, but it was talking about how like everything has to be in perfect harmony for the bow hunter to be successful. And how like that last, like I was saying, that last 100 yards, everything has to be so perfect. Wind, like your stock, the shot, like it all has to come to like one harmonious, just 1 second of that arrow being released from your bow and stuff. And it is, when something like that connects and you're successful, man, there's just a next level of success,
Absolutely. Yeah. There's just, I'm nothing against rifle hunters, because I used to rifle hunt, and I grew up doing that. But there's something about archery. I don't know what it is, but I think it makes me feel more as one with the land when I bow hunt.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So this bear, do you know if you have her on your cameras at all? Have you looked back at footage and stuff and didn't recognize it?
Yeah, I think it's a new bear. I have one. I think it might be her. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Because I've never shot anything I've gotten on camera. But the one I have on camera has really black paws, and I think it might be different. But I'm going to have to look back. I just haven't had time.
Sure.
I've been on cloud nine since I got back and doing everything.
Yep. Yeah, Jason's opening his freezer every 10 minutes, going back and taking a look at the bear that's in there.
Yeah, and another thing is, I just recently I checked some cameras at this pool, and I got a new black bear there, completely solid black. And usually I get nothing but color phases. It's rare for me to get an all black bear in my areas. And I asked around, and a few people said they think it's a boar. And I'm thinking, oh, Kong's got competition. So this is going to be interesting to see if I continue getting this guy, or if maybe he shows up next year.
Yeah, I was looking at your Instagram today, actually, and I saw that black bear. That thing looks pretty stout. So the body composition and everything, and the way it kind of carries itself, that looks like a boar to me. But I'm no expert, but that would be my guess.
Yeah, and it's just, makes it kind of a little bit exciting. I mean, I hope I continue seeing Kong, and but nature is nature, and it's going to take its course. So we'll see. But either way, if Kong's not there next year, I'll get the next one.
Yeah,
I'll get the next one on camera and make him famous.
There you go. Yeah, now you've got to brainstorm and come up with another name too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I actually already named him Black Beauty.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did type that on there, huh?
Yeah, that was the other thing I come up with, because, like I said, I hardly ever get all blacks.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit kind of about what you're shooting, and what, as far as your bow, and also what you shot as far as your arrow setup and your broadhead and stuff for the bear. I know some people like to know all the gear and everything.
Yeah, I shoot a PSE Vendetta. It's an older bow, but it works for me. Mm-hmm. My arrows, honestly, I get my arrows from Walmart.
Perfect.
I get my right length and the right weight. My broadheads is a broadhead I started using 3 years ago when I shot that big coos. Gravedigger.
Okay. Yep.
I like having the broadhead, fixed broadhead, that is a hybrid with expandable. They're just incredible, and I've taken 2 coos and 1 bear with that broadhead now, and I'm stoked about it. I made pretty decent shots, and they've done their thing. And broadheads I've used in the past have worked well too. But I really like this Gravedigger, because it kind of gives that little extra, I think, with those extra blades folding out.
Yeah.
Along with the fixed broadhead, and I'm happy with it. It works for me. But I think the end of the day, it comes down to shot placement. It really does. So whatever anybody uses, whatever works for them, it's fine. But I like the Gravediggers right now.
Yep. Yeah. I'm all about that, man.
Like my camo is Prime 1. I really dig that, because it I can be, high desert, low desert, and it helps me blend in. Mm-hmm. But I really love camouflage, especially when I'm bow hunting. I'm so into the camouflage thing, and I switch often with camos. I'll use something for a while, and if something catches my eye and blends in a little better, I'll go to that. Whatever I feel makes me more successful. But right now it's Prime 1. I really like it.
Yeah, and it looked like in your picture you were those gaiters, or was that some sort of like snake chaps or something?
Yeah, I always wear snake chaps. I don't like rattlers, man.
Yeah.
And if I come across a rattler when I'm hunting, it ruins my hunt.
I kill everyone I come across.
I can't look up anymore. I'm always looking down after I see a rattler. So I always wear them. Especially, when I have my daughter with me, I'm always concerned about her safety. So
absolutely,
I make her wear them. She hates wearing them. And, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And some of the places I go, it takes me a while to get out and even to get phone signals. So I don't want to take chances. So like I said, I'd rather be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no shame there, man. I don't blame you. I've had many close calls with rattlesnakes, and I'm honestly, I've even stepped on one. But yeah, I'm shocked that I haven't been bitten, but I don't blame you at all for wearing those.
Yeah. And the thing is, this is, prime season for them, summer. So
yeah,
they are out and about, and like I said, I don't want to take any chances, and it's just not worth the risk.
Yeah. So and I don't mean this in the sense that you did anything wrong, but what do you have as far as like takeaways? So after this, what do you go, maybe I could improve on this a little bit, or if I could change this next time, I would have done this better.
On this hunt, wait until you get a stretch of 2 to 4 or 5 longer days of the hottest heat.
Okay.
Because I noticed, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this because everybody's going to know now, but I think people kind of have an idea anyway. But those bears pound water on the hottest days. They're going to pound it because, like I told you, this time last year they were pounding, water on my cams. But this year it was like, where are they? Where are they? But I was still finding puddles of water in the creeks from the winter rains. So this last week and a half, things really dried up. So my pools that are usually there till the monsoons start.
Yeah.
That's one of the keys too, to find places like that. The hottest part of June, if you're going to have this hunt, that's what I've learned this summer. And it's hard because the hunt starts in May and ends the end of July. So you want to start in May. And like I said, I've done over 30 hours since the beginning of May.
Yeah.
And because I'm anxious, excited, as soon as I start getting a few bears, but when you go sit trails or water, it's hit and miss. But the last week and a half, huge increase. I mean, it was just like it went from 2 bears one week and then 4 or 5 the next week and then maybe 1 the following week. It's gone from that to the last week, almost like 4 or 5 bears morning and evening.
Jeez. Good.
And it's because of that hot sun.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you have the female quota. So when so many females are killed in that unit, even though you drew that tag, they close the hunt. So you can't hunt anymore once that female quota has been reached. Now, I just took a female.
Right.
So in my unit, there's 1 more left before they close it. But because it's so hot, I think there's a lot of guys that don't go often. Because it's hard. It's so hard going out there to sit, even when you're in the shade in that heat. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then you got to worry about scent. You can't. You sweat. You can't stop sweating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when you're sitting in the shade, you're perspiring. It's so hard. So it's a really hard hunt, but the hottest days is what you want to wait for. But at the same time, like I said, when that hunt starts, you're like, well, there's only so many sows you can. They'll stop the hunt when so many sows are killed in this unit. I don't want to not be able to hunt because 2, 4 or 5 females have been killed in the unit, and they've closed it. So that kind of gives people an incentive to go out at the beginning of the hunt and try to get one. But it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're really battling the elements on these Arizona bear hunts. Even in the spring, I mean, some of those spring ones, it gets hot quick, real quick.
Yes.
When Jake and I were out there, we were hitting like 97. So,
absolutely.
Yep. Well, cool, man. Anything else that you want to throw in? Anything off the top of your mind that maybe I didn't ask or?
No, I just, good luck to all the guys out there trying to get one this summer because it's a killer.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's hot, and like I said, I'm not, I don't regret taking the shot I got, at the bear I got, 100% behind it. And I'm glad I did it. It was a heck of an experience. And I needed that experience. I needed to get one underneath my belt. And the only thing I can say is be patient and try to control your breathing because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was hyperventilating, and I get like that, but that's why I hunt.
Yep.
If I didn't get that feeling, I wouldn't do it. But if anything, just try to be calm. And it's hard when, you're hunting bears. Some people, take it with a grain of salt and it doesn't bother them, but it really affects me when I bow hunt. I've missed so many animals in my life of hunting because I was too excited. I had the opportunities. Everything was laid out perfect. And I blew it because of my own excitement.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing for me that I had a big takeaway of hunting in Texas there was just the ability to continuously stalk an animal again and again and again, and even get set up and ready for the shot and like kind of hone in, I guess, well, not hone in, but like rein in some of my emotions and kind of learn to do that. And
Right.
so I feel like now walking away from that experience and the hunt there, I feel like I have a little bit more control of my mind, my body, and my emotions when I go to draw down on an animal. And that was kind of cool to kind of take that away from that whole experience and everything. But
Yeah, I try to prep myself. I try to.
do you talk to yourself like right before? Because
Yes,
I'm avidly
all the time.
okay. I'm avidly talking.
I pray a lot too, but
Yeah.
I'll sit there and say, okay, just breathe, take your time. And at that point, my heart's about to come out my chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I'm feeling stuff I've never felt, and I'm thinking something's not wrong here. And it's all I hear in my ears is my heart pounding.
Yep.
And but that's the rush. That's why we do it, I think.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. And the funny thing is, it took about 20 minutes after the shot, I was back to norm again. I still had the high, but you know, the shaking and all that was gone.
Yeah.
It was like it wore off, and I'm like, I felt like a different person. I'm like, what just happened to me?
Yeah, that predator instinct kicks in. It's crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, and another thing I want to say is, you know, I have a lot of trail cameras out, and 90% of my trail cameras are out there for pics and videos. I have a few of my spots that I do hunt, but most of them are in spots I don't hunt. And, you know, people might think, well, you should be getting this and that because you get all this on your cameras. It's not that easy. People don't understand. It's not that easy. I mean, if it was that easy, Kong would have been killed a long time ago.
Right.
You know, just because you use trail cameras doesn't mean it's ace in the hole there. You know, it's not the case. It may be for some guys in some places, but not for me. Despite having the cameras, I have yet to pattern bears. Honestly, I've talked to a lot of people and try to figure out what I'm doing wrong or why can't I pattern this or that. It's hard. But then again, if it was that easy, it wouldn't be the hunt it was.
Right.
You know where it is.
Yep. Did you by chance cut into the stomach at all just to kind of peek and see what it was eating?
You know, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I thought about that after the fact, but no, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. If you had to guess, what would you suspect? Because you know the area around there better than anybody. What would you kind of guess are their main sources right now?
Oh, manzanita berries, without a doubt.
Okay.
There are some juniper berries there, but it's I'd say 90% manzanita in that area.
Okay. Do they eat much grass, or is it all because it's all died off? They're probably switching over to the manzanita berries exclusively.
Yeah, you know, the grass there is not like, I don't think the kind they eat. Another thing that I noticed, especially on my cams, and one of the reasons they like this pool is down at the end of the pool where it runs into the creek when it's overflowing. Now it's just a pool, it's not overflowing, and you may have seen in my videos, they turn rocks.
Yeah.
They turn rocks that are outside of the water. And there's those little crustacean beetle things. I don't know what they're called, but there's a lot of different kinds that go into the water and come out of the water. And I always wondered, what they're going after. And I moved a few of those rocks once in a while, checking cams after I first got videos of them turning rocks. There's all kinds of insects and spiders and everything else underneath those big rocks. Huh. And they must munch on those. So when you talk about what they're eating, I think at that pool, they go there for a swim, cool off, they get a drink, and they, turn over rocks and get whatever little insects they can get, those little beetles and stuff. And when I look in the pool, you can see stuff swimming around everywhere in there, all kinds of little water creatures.
Yeah.
So they probably feed on a lot of that too. And it blows my mind because, berries and these little insects, and these bears are so big. It makes you wonder, they need, big sandwiches every day to, get that size, and they're getting that big off of berries and little bugs. It's like, no way.
Yeah, that's a lot of animal to feed. It's surprising that they can just, get that large with minimal amounts.
And it must take them all day to pick those berries. And think about it. I think about it like this. If I ate berries, I don't think I'd get full. And you'd think they'd need 50 Whoppers a day just to feel a little satisfied. And, I'm eating these little berries, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got that one black bear on my trail cam, and he was kind of grazing. There's a rock that juts out and kind of creates a area of dedicated shade throughout the day. And I noticed in that video, he was grazing on all these little, like, I don't know, maybe like succulents or shrubs or whatever you want to call them, but just these little kind of green plants or leaves that were kind of sticking out of the rocks. And I noticed he was kind of lapping those up with his tongue, and then he'd turn a few and kind of get to them and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool to see his feeding habits on camera.
Yeah, I've been told that when they come out of hibernation in the spring, they usually hit grass first. They, replenish with grass. And I've looked for these patches of grass and places where I can find them when they first come out. I have no idea. I'm still looking, still learning. I may have seen some places, just not known that's what they eat. You know what I mean?
Okay. I can back that up, because when Jake and I were doing that early spring hunt, when we were out there, we found that huge pile of bear droppings, and that's pretty much all that was in it, was just grass.
Oh yeah.
So it definitely they were hammering it somewhere.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I've learned a lot about bears in the last 3.5 years down in this area, since I've been pursuing a bear with my bow. But each year I think I'm kind of getting closer and one step ahead. Then the next year blows my mind, because they're doing different stuff. Yeah. Different things. And it's like I got to start all over again. And it's so frustrating. But then again, that's the drive that keeps you doing it, I think. I know a lot about deer and javelina, and I don't know everything, but it wouldn't be fun if I knew everything, and that's what keeps you going. But these bears, they just, like last year, they were in my spots over a month ago, pounding them. And this year, it was drips and drabs until, we got this little stretch of heat. But then again, we had more water around this year than last year. So that I learned that. So every year is different, is what I'm saying. It's all dictated by the weather and food, so every year is not going to be the same. But it keeps it exciting too,
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're going in August, right?
Yeah. That did I send you pictures of that bear that I got?
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Dude, that's a tank.
I know. I can't believe. I wonder. Yeah, I'll have to tell you some stuff later. I don't want to say it on here, but yeah. my goal there is to maybe do like a tree stand or something like that. I don't know if I really want to sit ground level with something like that size. So I'll probably put a tree stand up there. There's a couple of trees that would lend themselves to a good tree stand opportunity. So I'll probably do that and sit that. If not, I know a couple other canyons I'd like to go check that I've glassed bears in before.
Right. Now, you're not afraid of heights?
No.
See, I am. Okay. I've got a few deer spots that I made little wood ladders, and they're only like 8 foot up.
Yeah.
And even 8 foot up, I feel it when I'm up 8 foot and I look down, it feels like 30. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy with me. So I've never been a tree stand guy.
Yeah.
I don't like being in, the blinds they sell. I don't like being in those because I feel claustrophobic, and it's hot.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so what I like is stick blinds that I make. That's what I enjoy.
Yep.
I can hear properly. I got a breeze, especially during the summer hunt. You need that. I prefer those. I wish I could get up in a tree because I probably see a lot more, and my scent would be harder to smell, but I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah. When you go to Texas and do a hunt like that, they typically recommend doing tree stands and stuff like that, or ground blinds as like their main source of hunting. But Jake and I were just kind of like, we're spot and stock guys. That's what we enjoy. And so we resorted to that instead. But we did sit probably 3 or 4 different tree stands, and they didn't bother me. There was one that was pretty darn high, and it was kind of like if you'd scoot towards the edge and look down, you'd be like, but it was never like to the point of where I didn't want to be up there.
There's places I've been and I won't go again because just the dirt road in has, a cliff on the side.
Yeah.
And the road is really small, almost pretty much a one-laner. I won't go up it again. If I go up there, I'm like, that's it. I'll never go up here again. And I'll turn around. I'll try to turn around and get out of there. And that's put me off a lot of places, even just putting trail cams. There's so many places I want to put trail cams just for pics and videos of animals. And I can't get back in there because the roads are like that and they're cliffs. I can't do it.
Yeah.
That's how bad I am with heights.
That's crazy.
How high do you go up and you're okay with? What's your highest height?
Boy, I'm trying to think of what to compare it to.
Like 15 foot up. Now you're okay with that?
Yeah, I could probably get up on, so like I have a 2-story house. I could probably stand on the roof of my second story, and that would probably be like the highest comfortability that I'm okay with.
Oh man, I don't have a 2-story. I have a 1-story house, and when I get up on the roof every blue moon, my wife laughs because I can't get up on my knees.
You're crawling across the top,
trying to do something.
Crawling across the top of your.
I'm the same way coming back down off the ladder. I'm stuck. My whole body's stuck flat on the roof. I can't get up, and it's funny as can be, but I can't help it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's how bad a heights I am.
Yeah. No, I understand. I definitely have a limit because I know there's a couple places before in some buildings where I've done architectural photography for clients, and I've gotten close to a railing. Like I had to put my back against it to get the widest angle that I could for a shot. And it definitely, like, I turned around and looked, and you get that, was it like vertigo factor where it's like, It feels like everything zooms out. Yeah. So I know I have my limit because if I look at certain places and look down, it's like, whoa. So,
yeah. And it's not so much being high.
Yeah.
It's the edge where I can see down. That's what freaks me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like on the road, I can see off the side of the road when I'm driving, and I can see it go way down there, the cliff. And when I'm on the roof, getting up and down is the hardest part because I'm on the edge.
Yeah.
Being up in a tree stand, even my 7-8 foot wood ladder stand, like I said, when you're sitting up there, the edge is right by your legs and your butt. You can't help but look straight down. And I just, even with a harness and all that, I'm more, paranoid of falling, and I'm holding on more than sitting there comfortable with my bow. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a couple, every stand that we sat in there was different. There were a couple that were just like the ladder straight up, and then as soon as you reached the top of the ladder, all you did pretty much was turn around and stick your butt on a cushion. Those made me feel a lot more uneasy. I felt a lot more easy and a lot more satisfied with the ones that had like a foot grate that was, probably 3 feet wide, and kind of had an area that you could kind of step up onto, and you could stand and probably turn around if you wanted to and stuff. Those made me feel more comfortable versus the ones that were basically like a ladder just straight up and then turn around to sit down.
I see. Right. Yeah, I prefer being on the ground.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd much rather spot and stalk anyways. That's just my preference. But
yeah, now is the fall hunt, wherever you're going to be, is that rifle or archery?
Either or.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. You know what? It's nice having the option. It really is.
Yeah, I don't know. I really would like to stick with the bow. But some of these canyons though, if you spot something, there's no way, like, it's just not, you're going to have to do a rifle.
Right.
Just because the faces are so sheer on either side. Like if you spot something, it's going to be several hundred yards away, probably, unless you have an experience like yours where I walk up on something. But, yeah, I just, probably would lend itself more to a rifle hunt.
Yeah, this place I was at, this pool, there's a rock ledge that you go up the side of and you sit up top. It's like a little flat plateau. Now, I'm okay up there because it's pretty wide. And when I look down, that pool's there. And then the creek's on the other side. But when I'm sitting, I'm not hanging off the edge. I'm kind of sitting back a little bit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. And that's, to me, considered the ground because, I'm not up in a tree.
Right.
I'm on the top of the big boulder rock. So, that's doable for me. But no, a lot of people have told me get up in a tree and, it'd be a lot easier for you. And it may be, in the case of, hunting, but I can't do it. I'm, up there holding on for dear life, and I can't hunt that way.
Yep. So when you packed this bear out, was that in one trip that you guys were able to do it, or did you have to make multiple?
Oh no, just one. It was one trip, so we're able to do it that way. Thanks to my buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you carried the hideout, and he carried everything else, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Kelly, I couldn't have done it without him. I'd probably still be out there packing, covering that bear up, and packing piece by piece out. Like I said, he's a young guy, and bless his heart, man. He really saved my butt.
That's awesome, man. And that's cool too, when you can kind of share the experience too in the struggle. I really like that a lot, the grind that really starts after the harvest and packing the animal out and everything. It's like a little bit of suffering, but it's like an enjoyable suffering, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and what was cool about it is, I'm sure he saw the excitement in my eyes, but I saw it in his.
Yeah.
I think he was as stoked about what happened as I was.
I can imagine watching that whole thing go down.
So cool. And the cool thing about it was, what made it even more impressive was we were caught off guard. Like I said, we just got there.
Yeah.
We hadn't even, taken all our stuff off and sat down and set up. We were totally caught off guard. So it was like, it happened within seconds of being there. And
right.
It was like, boom. And then it was all over. And it was like, did that just happen?
Now, were you guys, were you intentionally kind of stalking in, or were you just kind of at a casual stroll and kind of maybe not thinking there would be anything there yet? Or what was your approach into that spot?
We came in from the opposite side, and it was a big hill that drops down into this big cut. And as I get closer to the bottom and I get to the point where I can see in the pool, I always tiptoe down this rock face to kind of listen to see if anything's swimming in there.
Okay.
And then if I don't see anything, then I kind of cut around this one side, get down to the bottom of the creek, and then walk the creek up a little bit till I'm almost right at the water's edge.
Yeah.
And that's where I have a few of my cameras placed. And then we cut up the side. So we come in from the north and we go up. We go and sit on the south, and the creek runs east and west.
Okay.
And in fact, the little hill we have to go up, it's all rock, but it's got some leaves and dirt, and you're slipping and making noises, and it's hard to get up there without, making noise. You can't be quiet. And when you get right to the top, you kind of stop listening, because we just made a bunch of noise coming up, and then we calmly, take off our packs and get situated to sit. And it was right at that time we got right to the top. So if I was 5-10 seconds later, that bear would have probably been in the pool when we were coming up the creek, and I would have been eye to eye with it, but it would have busted us,
Yeah. Wow.
Because when we get down to the creek, we kind of have to walk around this little rock face before we can actually see the pool. And we're talking seconds, because we just got to the top. I actually stopped in the creek to pull one of my cards and left the other cams, and we, crawled up to the top there. And as soon as we got to the top, like I said, I had just taken my pack off, started to unzip my pack. I set my bow down, pulled my water bottle out. He was just taking his pack off because he got up after me. And I was down on one knee, and he was just kind of, crouched down. And I kind of looked in the direction I was facing, which was towards the creek, and the west side of the creek, because we sit up on the rock and we can see the west and east side, and it pulls in between the two right below us. And I saw that fur, and I just swung my arm around and tapped him. And I didn't say anything. And from that second on, it was like I blanked out.
Yeah.
It was like I have to think about what happened, because it was just like I was in another world. It just happened so fast.
Yeah. That's crazy though. So in hindsight, if you hadn't stopped to pull that card, everything would have played out completely different.
Well, yeah, at that point, we would have already been sitting.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have stopped, we would have gotten there, a few seconds earlier up top, and we would have actually been set up more.
Okay.
And yeah, the outcome would have been different. And if we were 5 seconds later, I would have been pulling a card, and that bear would have come up on the rock face to go down into the pool, and it would have looked right down on us.
Right.
We would have been busted.
Right.
So yeah, that's why, I don't, regret taking the bear I took whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. And I'm 100% happy with that. I'm blessed for what happened. And, it's a heck of a hunting story too. The way it went down, it was really cool. And it's long overdue. I wouldn't say overdue, but I've been waiting for this a long time.
Sure. No, it is though. It is overdue.
To get one with my bow, it's just, and if I didn't get one, I'd do it again.
Yeah.
That's the hunting aspect of it.
So what does Jason do the rest of the year now? And kind of where's your focus and your eyes go next for the next adventure?
August, I got a couple buddies that, I'm going to take out and try to help them get deer with a bow when they're in velvet. And of course, my daughter, try to get my daughter another buck in velvet with her bow. And then trail cams, of course, I'm going to do the trail cams. That's my year-round hunt right there. Is hunting with my cams. It's a different hunt for me, but I just enjoy doing the cams, getting the animal footage. I love that. So I'm done till January, but I'll take a few people out and my daughter, and that's probably it. But the cams, you should ask my wife. The cams are almost every weekend. I've got cams somewhere that I need to go check. And bless her heart, she knows, because every blue moon, I won't go one weekend. She'll be like, "What's going on? How come you're not going to check your cams?" And she's great about it. And it's just that's probably pretty much what I'll be doing the rest of the year. So, yeah. But it's nice knowing that I filled my tag. And now I can kind of move on and prep for the next thing,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the cool thing about this time of year is this is when I get my bears on cameras all summer. So the fall, winter, and spring, I really don't get hardly anything on bears. Odd one here and there, but this is 100% prime time in my spots for getting all my bear footage. So that's what I love about summer, if I have a tag or not. I get bear videos and pics, and I really dig that, because it's the only time of year I can get it.
Yep.
And of course, August, I'm hoping to get, fawns, newborn fawns, nice little red spotted fawns with white, polka dots, almost like your access deer. I hope to get a bunch of those on camera because those are cool. A lot of people dig those. And then the baby Coda Mondays, the end of August.
Yeah. Oh man, I love those videos. Watching so many of them pop up and these little tails kind of scurrying across the camera, dude. It's so awesome.
Yeah, so when I say hunting with cameras, I have seasons throughout the year to get certain pics of certain animals doing certain things, with the babies or, the bears swimming or the bucks running. So that's what I refer to with I got my hunting season throughout the year, and then I got my cam season throughout the year.
Yep.
It's like two different hunts for me, but, one's with tags, and the other one's just for footage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool, man. Again, congratulations. And
thank you very much.
Yeah. And I'll be sharing, I'll share Jason's pictures of his bear to my Instagram stories. I think I can share your original post so that people can click over to your profile and then give you a follow. Because if you guys aren't following Jason, you're missing out on some absolutely amazing content that he drops with his trail cameras and stuff. So again, man, congratulations. And
thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some more info and kind of hear back. I know it'll be about a year before we hear some age and everything, but make sure you follow up and let us know all that stuff that you find out about your bear.
Will do. Absolutely. I want to thank you, Stephen, and BowhuntingAZ. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. My pleasure. It's good talking to you and glad to see the success.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. You take care. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the BowhuntingAZ podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast, smash those 5 stars on iTunes, and leave a little review at the bottom. It'll really help us out. For our short films, go subscribe over on YouTube. Just search BowhuntingAZ. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at BowhuntingAZ. Good luck to everyone this season. We'll catch you in the next episode.